Dynamite Light. The last show at Daly's Place that they're going to have constantly. Now, of course, they are going to go back to Daly's Place, and I believe in about 1 month or so, they'll be returning to Daly's Place. But after that, they won't be going back for quite a while. This was all about Daly's Place, and they wanted to go out with a bang. That's the way it looked. That's the way it acted. Now, not everyone's going to like this. I'm going to be honest here. Not everyone's going to like this show. They're not going to like it. There's going to be a good amount of people that's going to think this show is way too corny, way too oversold, and they're not going to like it 100%. But this is supposed to be for the people in Jacksonville at Daly's Place. That's what this was for. More than the people at home, this is for the people at Daly's Place. So this is what you get. First match, we got Eddie Kingston and Penta versus the Bucks. And if they won this match, they get a title shot. And at this point, I'm going like, what? Why? Why are the guys in the Elite decided to get a beard and mustache and grow some lamb chops? I believe I got a shot and it's in my face. Why? Why are they looking like they're from the damn 70s and Starsky and Hutch? Look, guys, I may have been born in 1971, but I don't 100% care about the 70s. Yes, I did like the cartoons from the 70s and 80s. I'm not going to lie about that. There are also some sci-fi that was done in the 80s, 70s, and 90s that were good. But I don't want to be in the 70s and 80s. I don't want to have to see a guy with a mustache and lamb chops. I don't give a damn about that. I want something racing. But it does go with their new personas, as pretty much they're going to do whatever the hell they want. They want to act stupid, they're going to act stupid. And they decide to grow beards, mustache, and lamb chops, and that sideburns to look different. Even Kenny Omega did that, and I'll get to him later. Was this a good match? Yes, it was. But I didn't expect them to job here. Once I saw the Good Brothers, I knew that either the Good Brothers were going to interfere, or they were going to do something underhanded. Now, they tried, and I thought, well, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It didn't come. Penta and Eddie won. And I'm going, okay. Why? Honestly, don't get me wrong. I love me Eddie Kingston. Guys, Eddie Kingston won me over in Impact Wrestling for the way he worked his craft. And then when he went to NWA and worked with Homicide, he expanded on it and he won me over completely. He already won me over a lot in Impact. I respected him, but when he went to NWA and the way he spoke there, he completely won me over. And I already liked Kingston at the time, but that was when he truly won me over as a very strong fan. I want to see this guy succeed and get a championship. Not just a TNT title. I would love to see him go for the world title, but TNT, I wouldn't be surprised. But why? That's just the honesty. There's no Moxley right now. Yes, Penta has been screwed over with Pac and Phoenix. Yes, they've been screwed. But honestly, why? Why would they do it? Particularly that we're not near a pay-per-view, which I believe would be the best option. They could continue feuding, or they could continue trying to build up a credibility to get up in the ranks, instead of having to do this bit that if they beat the Bucks, they get a shot. I'm sorry, guys. They've been doing this a lot lately. The Bucks have been doing this a lot lately. They did it with Top Flight. They did it with I don't think the Seidel brothers, but they did it more than a few times in the last couple of months, easily. 3 or 4 or 5 months. They've done it, and I don't agree with it. I'd rather have seen Penta and Eddie Kingston build up the credibility than just be given a shot because they won the match. Like I told you months ago, there was going to be a major issue with the ranking system eventually, and they had to do this type of thing and balance it out. They had to have, once in a long while, a team given the opportunity to win a shot without going for the ranking system, and they needed the ranking system to make sure that this was only once in a while, very rare. This was the best way, and they haven't done it. It's been almost dead even, and that's what the issue is for me personally. They're making this the shot more important. And they're trying to move away from this, which is a bad move because one, they're going to piss off the people, and two, sooner or later, they're going to end up like WWE and Impact Wrestling where they rely on this too much. Because Impact does it almost all the time, and WWE does it every single time. I'm just saying. Ethan Page had his moment. He wanted to make it very clear that he's going to do the coffin match against Darby Allin. He wanted to make sure that it's understood that he wants to break him because he's broken his body multiple times and he still keeps coming back. Now he wants to break his mind. Okay, I'm fine with that. But then you get Sting coming out with a coffin. You get Darby coming out, whooping the ass a little bit of an Ethan Page. And now he said there must be a stipulation written in. There's a clause, you cannot touch me. Because if you don't do this, I won't do the match now. Because I was ready to do the match, but you know you can't beat me at 100%. You got to attack me here. And now if you want me, you're going to have to sign some paperwork to make sure you can't touch me until we do have a match, counting if I agree to it. Now, I'm glad to see they're trying to build into this coffin match to make it mean something. So hopefully when they go into the next pay-per-view, it will mean something. Instead of just trying to do it on the show. That's what I'm hoping for. They're not doing it on the show. They will do it on a pay-per-view. That's what I'm hoping for. Now, Jungle Boy versus Jack Evans. And this is Jungle Boy's 50th match. No real importance coming from it. Other than it was the 50th match that has ever been done by somebody. And that if he wins, he will be recognized as the first person in AEW history to do 50 matches and won 50 matches from last year and this year, which he did. Now, I'm not saying the match was bad. It wasn't. But the point was not about the match. If it was, it would have meant something like a stipulation. To give him something for the TNT title or give him something for the world title. No. Since he already had a shot at the world title, he ain't get nothing. This was just a build-up for Christian Cage. Because Christian was invested in Jungle Boy won. You got the Hardy family, Hardy family office coming out, which I hate the name of that. Then Hardy comes out. Then Christian comes out. And then they have their moment. This is building into Christian versus Matt in some type of stipulation match. It's coming. Which I'm alright with as long as it's a right stipulation match. I'm just saying. Kenny had a segment. Kenny was confronted by Dark Order. Before that happened, he said, I have gone through absolutely every person on this roster that means something. And the last person is Jungle Boy. I beat everybody. Flat out without no help. I'm taking a break. And that is when Dark Order came out and they said, There's still one person you haven't touched. One person that has not gone for that title, and you know who it is. And then everyone started chanting the Hangman's name. And he said clearly, this is Kenny. If we're talking about the same guy, you know he's not ready. If we're talking about the same guy, you know he's scared. You know, if we're talking about the same guy, you know it's not going to happen. And if we're talking about the same guy, he's going to be pissed off that you did this. And he was pissed off after it was over. Because there was no confrontation, no fighting, no punching. But they made it clear in the Dark Order, look, we care about you. We're your friends. You don't need to get angry at us. We know the reason you're not doing this. You're not afraid of Kenny Omega. You're just afraid of failure. And we made it very clear. We care about you. And you made it clear to us. Particularly with Evil Uno, when he had his match, he said, look, you came out and put me on your shoulders. And you said, didn't matter, you lost. You did your best. And I am proud of you. That's what he said. So they're saying, who cares if you win? We know you want to do this, and we know you can do this. And if you lose, fine, you lose. And there's no shame in it. So now they left him with a bit to think about while he's drinking his whiskey. I'm hoping they're building this up for the next pay-per-view and not going to do it beforehand. Because sometimes a company will blow their wad beforehand. And I'm worried they'll do that with Hangman Page. They may not, but they could. Now, there was no Cody Rhodes on the show, which was good. No Jade Cargill, that was also good. No vignettes, nothing, no matches, good. Give us a little time away from her to build up into it. And with Cody, yes, he's going to have a match next week, I believe, against QT Marshall. I don't know why they keep going there. They need to stop. I'm not against QT and not against Cody, but now the feud is done. The Nightmare Factory needs to be recreated. The Nightmare family and the factory are done. Ended already. I'm just saying. Now, we had Miro versus Brian Pillman Jr. He was destroyed. He didn't stand a chance. Yes, he got some offense in, and it looked good. But in the end, I didn't expect Brian Pillman Jr. to win. I know he's not ready yet for the main title or the TNT title for that matter. He's a tag specialist, and there's been no reason for him to break away from, what's the guy's name? Oh my goodness. I forgot the guy's name. I'm sorry, guys. I remember Julia Hart, but the guy's name is Garrett Garrison because he reminds me of an actual garrison where you have soldiers. That's why I keep forgetting. But essentially, he's a tag specialist. He's not going to go for the world title. He's not going to go for the TNT title right now. He's still a tag specialist. That's going to keep him for at least another year or more. I'm just saying. Now, Nia Rose versus Rebel. Let me crank that back. Vicky, who is not really useful at all. It was basically a handicap match with Nia Rose, Rebel, and Britt Baker. And I think legitimately we got an injury for a Rebel. Because at one point there was one move, I can't remember which one it was. Rebel got hurt. I think when she was trying to save Britt Baker, she slammed into both Naya as well as Britt in a way that completely knocked her for a loop or something. She was completely messed up. And when Naya tried to pick her up, says, no, I can't. And she literally was trying to crawl away. Now, I don't know if she tore something trying to break up that pin, or if she slammed her face into a foot or a head, but she was messed up bad. She could not function, and you could see them in the back checking her. By the time Britt Baker didn't win, basically Britt Baker did win by basically doing the lockjaw on Vicky Guerrero, but she didn't win by Nia Rose, which that means they still supposedly have a feud between Nia Rose and Britt Baker, and Britt got thrown through a table. The question is going to be is two. Where are they going to go with this feud and how long is this going to last between Britt and Nia Rose, and how badly injured is Rebel? And I'm hoping she's all right, because I don't know what happened. Either she clunked heads with Nia Rose, or she got a boot to the face, or she tore something and hurt herself. I don't know which one it is. Let's just hope she's okay. Let's see here. Did that Ethan Page. I know there's a lot more I could talk about, but I'm not going to talk about it because I'm leaving it. I'm leaving a lot of stuff like Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks for the Taz's title. I don't want to mention any more than that. There's several things I'm leaving because I want to see it develop. That's the way it is. I'm just leaving for the FTW, sorry. I'm not talking about it. I'm going to leave it. Final match of the night, and that was MJF versus Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara, the first time they touched on television. Now, I'm sure they touched in the independents, but not on television. And this is what we got. This is going to be a match that not everyone is going to like. I'm going to say it like clearly. People love fucking spots. It's going to love the hell out of it. But those who do not like spots will not like it, because this was heavily spotted. This was a spot fest. In the beginning, there was a lot of counters, a large amount of counters, and setup, because you could see that each one was setting up for the other. Each one was telegraphing the move for the next type of routine they were going to do. It was that choreographed in the beginning. Of course, they settled down a little bit better, and they did go better in the middle to the end of the match. That is how it went. Because in the beginning, it was heavily spotted. And not everyone's going to like that. But people who love spots, oh, they're going to love every damn minute of it. Now, nearing the end of the match, you got MJF taking a Sammy Guevara and pretty much pile driving him from the second turn rope where he supposedly hurt his knee. He couldn't even put no weight on it properly. Then Sammy Guevara got hurt because he couldn't use his arm. That is where they went from. I think that was around the middle to near the end of the match. That's how they tried to settle it. And it reached the point where Shawn Spears came out and Wardlow came out, and then Chris Jericho had to come out because he was on commentary for the entire show, for Daily's Place's last constant show. He was there, and he left his spot to go and try and help Sammy Guevara against Spears. Then Wardlow came in, whooped his ass, hurt his arm, threw him off the stage onto the floor, and Sammy Guevara got defeated because he got nailed in the face by a chair. It's in my face. So, the last thing you see at Daily's Place is MJ. Nothing wrong with MJ's face like this. Nothing wrong with it. And this was the last thing you saw before they did some snippets of the entire time they were at Daily's Place through the pandemic. They showed everything they thought was necessary, including Brody Lee and his funeral. Not funeral, but you know what I mean, their dedication to him. It was a good show. I'm not going to say it was great, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Not everyone's going to like it because it was a lot more spotty than normal. It was very spot heavy. They wanted to cater to Daily's Place's people there. They wanted them to cheer, and it helped because the crowd there was hot. They were active. Yes, it was sticky, it was sweaty in Jacksonville, but no one cared because they were cheering, they were yelling, they were standing on their feet, they were watching everything, and they were engaged. And that is exactly what they needed going into the next the next show, which will be on the road next week. I will say it was done well. I'm not 100% into spots, but I can understand why they did it. And I can understand why a lot of people here that watch my videos will not like it. They want something more substantial, and they didn't get it. So they're not going to be enjoying it. But there will be some who will. And in this situation, because they're back on Wednesday, this is what they had to do, guys. I know you're not liking it. Some of you will love it. Some of you will not. You will hate the shit out of it and say that AEW is a piece of shit. I still say, fuck AEW, fuck Impact Wrestling, and fuck NWA. I'm still doing the obligatory stuff, even though it's at the end of this review. I haven't forgotten. But you get my point. They're not going to make it as good as everybody wants it. They're going to keep messing with the formula, trying to make it better. Look what's going on with the Bucks. Why are they doing too many of these? You beat us, we give you a shot. They've done it for months. More than a few months. They have done this. They did it now with Penta as well as Eddie. They did it with Top Flight. I think they did it with the Acclaimed. I don't remember the next team they did it with. I think they did it with another team. I cannot remember. But I'm telling you right now, they do it too much. It's going to piss people off. But this is just my point of view. Have a good day. Have a good night. And watch my Impact Wrestling review. Oh, it's so warm in here. It is muggy as hell in New York. Right now, the humidity is about 80%, I think. And it just rained and it felt like it didn't rain. Peace.